Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and yeah, another Bath & Body Works haul, of course. Let's see, last week was National Fragrance Week, so I hope you guys had a great National Fragrance Week. Mine was particularly awesome, but I also did the string of candle reviews as well, so check those out if you want to see the performance for any of the recent candles on my channel. And then here we are today. Monday is the official launch of the Bridgerton stuff, so I bought 2 extra of the Bridgerton Study, or 1 of the Bridgerton Study, and 1 extra of the Wisteria Garden back when I hauled them a while back, so then I could exchange them for today for the other 2 that I was not able to obtain yet, and that's the Danbury Shortbread and the Queen Charlotte's Tea. I just wanted to see what the floor set on launch day and everything looked like. People weren't really gravitating too much towards the Bridgerton stuff. Like, there wasn't a crazy rush or anything when I went in. It was just the usual Monday midday crowd, to be honest. And most people were just picking up, I think, Boppus orders. But as you guys know, other brands are very well known for their collaboration candles, so I kind of wanted to see what Bath & Body Works' response would be to collaboration and see what a floor set in person would look like for a collaboration. It was like I was expecting maybe like a bigger, more extravagant table, but it was like the table behind the Brightest Bloom stuff, which the Brightest Bloom floor set is absolutely friggin' gorgeous. Like, the paper flowers and stuff that they have all on the tables, snatched, and like just the huge like graphical floral images and everything, just absolutely beautiful. Wow. I think that's just so overwhelmingly beautiful that it was like the Bridgerton stuff was behind it. They just had like this, like a trifold display. I'll try to put in photos as I'm talking about it, that talked about the Bridgerton stuff, and then it was just the usual accessories and the candles on the table as normal. What's really fun and what I appreciate in terms of, I guess, the foresight and the cohesion of previous spring floor sets in line with the Bridgerton floor set is that the greenhouse stuff that we had kind of matches the royal English, sort of like tea party feel that we had. You know, the greenhouse fern and the bergamot and birch, but then also those beautiful like greenhouse panes that we had of like the eucalyptus rain in springtime in Paris. So that's on the back side. So it's just like the foresight to coordinate that the spring 1 stuff with all the beautiful floral stuff still also kind of coordinates with like the royal English stuff of Bridgerton, like back to back. Snatched. Love it. So that was pretty awesome. But other than that, it was pretty standard. There was just a small little front little preview box thing that had like faux wisteria vines that was kind of cute, similar to how the Diamond of the Season preview went. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the floor set talk. Let's get into the fragrances. So yeah. We have Danbury Shortbread right here, and that's what that looks like. These are all $29.95 except for the $32.95 on the Diamond of the Season because of the glass lid. This one has stripes on it and has the decorative lid on there. Let's see, whipped vanilla, almonds, sugar crystals. What's interesting is they had a ton of like the candle shipment boxes all like underneath the table, just like very visible and like stashed all throughout the store. So they had a ton of inventory of these Bridgerton candles that were just like overflowing in boxes. And you know, I'm nosy and I want to look at the labels that are on there. And interestingly, DS, which stands for Danbury Shortbread, has in parentheses on the shipment box, Blackberry Angel Food Cake. And I was like, oh girl, what is that? I was like, where's this Blackberry Angel Food Cake? But then of course it took me a moment to realize that was indeed DS, which is Danbury Shortbread. But I don't think this smells like a Blackberry Angel Food Cake fragrance. So I was like, okay, let me smell this. And okay, this could potentially be Angel Food Cake. There's a fluffy, sort of buttery, cakey, shortbready cookie fragrance. You know, cookies and cakes and bakery stuff's all kind of interchangeable. And I was like, okay, this could be Angel Food Cake. But then I was like, okay, could my mind go to blackberry? And I don't know. There's not really anything particularly juicy or bursting or blackberry or berry in this. That I'm like, I don't understand why the box says Blackberry Angel Food Cake, unless that was the I don't want to really even say the working title, but maybe the original concept for the fragrance. And then last minute they changed it to just a shortbread fragrance. I don't really know. Or is there blackberry in this and I just can't pick it out? I don't know. This doesn't really smell like I don't really get anything berry or fruity. It's definitely warm on the almond and vanilla. But I don't know. I would have loved a Blackberry Angel Food Cake fragrance though. Ooh, sign me up for that. But I don't know. it's a mystery, but in any case, what we do have is indeed just DS, which is the Danbury Shortbread, and of course the notes on this were with vanilla, almonds, and sugar crystals. I tried the pocket back, and I really couldn't get blackberry out of that either. It kind of just smells, the pocket back, when you first use it, you know how a lot of vanilla bakery fragrances, things like Vanilla Bean Noel or even Vanilla Cloud, there's that distinctly like chemical, plasticky, sort of like vanilla fragrance oil fragrance that you get on first sniff of the pocket back when you use it, but it did dry down to like a nice cookie type fragrance. It's very reminiscent of a sugared snickerdoodle, and I was like, it is a rather basic, very safe bakery fragrance for sure. It is very it's more creamy on that sort of whipped vanilla than you would imagine a hard shortbread to be. A lot of times they can sometimes have a crunchy texture to the fragrances where there's like a buttery, crunchy shortbread feel to it. And there's definitely a butteriness to this, but there is a creaminess to this as well that's kind of a little, I guess, off for what should be like a hard, crunchy shortbread, but being super nitpicky, obviously. But yeah, it's just a very creamy, buttery, cookie fragrance is what it is. Super safe, nothing groundbreaking, but it doesn't smell cheap either. There is a hint of that sort of like nutty almond action in there, not as intense as that sort of like almost salty, savory almond that we got in Almond Croissant. And then once again, when you burn that one at the mid-range point, it gets like really like tarnished and salty and intense and just kind of grody. This doesn't seem like it goes quite as hard on that like almond paste intensity that had. I would say even if it didn't say almond on there, I don't necessarily know if it would like pick it out immediately, and it's more just like a buttery cookie, buttery cake type of fragrance. If you like sugared snickerdoodle or Mary cookie, this is just yet another one of those. That's why I think Blackberry Angel Food Cake sounds a little bit more unique, and at least at this point in my candle reviewing career, so to speak, it's like I'm looking for uniqueness and newness rather than just another cookie fragrance that I could get somewhere else. So that's my only qualm about this one, but I enjoy that they at least gave us a basic bakery fragrance and didn't go all conceptual or all fancy. So yeah, Danbury Shortbread right there. Yeah, moving on, the other one that I did not have yet is the Queen Charlotte's Tea, and I think this does indeed look like the packaging that leaked from that like Facebook Marketplace photo that we got a while back, so I guess it remained the same, and that's what that looks like, and that's that right there. Rich bergamot, bold citrus, and black tea leaves, thick rope-like wicks, white wax. Yeah, not what I would normally gravitate towards. It has a tea feel to it, very much heavy on that citrus or bergamot for sure. And then like a herbal tea quality is in there. This goes more in the fresh, clean, almost like bath salts, spa category than it does sweet, fruity drink gourmand. So this is going to be a little bit more of your sort of like zen spa moment. I mean, this could even be marketed, like think of your fragrances like Salted Ocean Air. There is such a like citrus, like breeziness to it, and a crispness, and like almost like a bath salt feel to it. This could be some kind of like ocean air, ocean breeze fragrance. I would believe that too, that this really, yeah, I mean, yes, it does smell kind of like a herbal tea, but it's so much more in that herbal zen fresh clean feel that it could go a little bit more spa than it is fruity drink bakery fragrance. So just keep that in mind. So obviously the comparison would be, how does it compare to like our previous tea and lemon that we've had? And then we had Southern Sweet Tea, which was a test fragrance that was also very similar to it. So we have this right here. This is a label I made. This one originally had the mixed materials wraparound label on it, but is indeed the tea and lemon fragrance, which is the same as London Calling when it came out originally. English tea leaves, bright lemon, and white cane sugar. Yeah, like you smell this and it's like sweet, it's juicy, it has that citrus in there. It's very much like your like bottled sweetened iced tea, you know, sweet tea you would order from McDonald's or a restaurant. It has a sweetness in there with the sugar and the usual citrus sweet tea fragrance. Like it's that undeniable, like this is supposed to be iced sweet tea fragrance. So this is not quite that, yeah. But serviceable, once again, if this was in a neutrals packaging, would I have picked it up? I don't think so. Like these are totally just collaboration buys completely. So Queen Charlotte's Tea right there, which is weird because it's like, I don't even watch Bridgerton and I'm not really a fan of it. So why am I still buying these candles? But I guess it's just like the excitement, the hype that comes with having a channel in the candle community. So it's like almost like an obligation to buy it, even though there really is no obligation. But you know, we're collectors, so we buy this kind of stuff. I shouldn't have to explain myself. So Queen Charlotte's Tea right there. So those are the two new ones. I already did reviews on Wisteria Garden, but I'll briefly talk about these just to be exhaustive in this Bridgerton collection video. So Wisteria Garden right here. This was the Sweet Rosewood, English Rain, and Lemon Petals. I've burned this one like to the mid-range point at this point. Not super strong, but not unscented. Very much like light into the medium range. Yeah, this is your obvious like floral fragrance. There's definitely like a bright, citrusy, grapey, berry quality that is kind of associated with wisteria fragrances. There's almost like a grapey, plummy, like a purple fruitiness to wisteria, and that is captured in here with a bright citrus, and then sort of that sort of green floral petal type feel is in there. Serviceable for a wisteria fragrance. I don't know, when I think of like English royalty, you think of like English rose gardens and just like a beautiful like tea rose fragrance or something would have been so friggin' awesome, but they gave us wisteria instead. But at least we have a floral fragrance in here, so I can't be too nitpicky. And then lastly, Bridgerton Study was this one. Smooth amber, oakwood, and dried orchids. Yeah, this just smells like a Christmas fragrance to me. Like, oh my god. It has that like mulled spices, mulled fruit, mulled wine type of feel to it for whatever reason. There's like a juiciness from the amber. And then there's a spiciness for sure. It's quite spicy. And then there's a little bit of like a sort of powdery floralness underneath it. Think of like your flannel type fragrance, and that sort of spicy amber quality, but then add like a little bit of a powdery feminine touch to it. But also very much like this, that blue spruce and spice is kind of like woodsy feel with spicy feel that gives it that sort of like nostalgic Christmas Yuletide experience to it. So that was Bridgerton Study right there. And then lastly, of course, we had Diamond of the Season, which was the hero fragrance right here. I already talked about this, not my favorite. Sparkling Peach, Spring Daffodil, and Radiant Jasmine. This is just like a peach citrus, like fruity, effervescent drink type of fragrance. A lot of the PR articles they ran when they first launched called out a champagne note in this, so I think it's just supposed to be like a celebration, sparkling, effervescent feel. There's just something very bathroom cleaner, bathroom product about this. Somebody said it kind of smells like urinal cakes, so get that kind of picture or idea. There's something sort of cheap or gladish about this. I feel like if it maybe had a little bit more of a floral fine fragrance quality to it, it could maybe have elevated it more and made it a little bit more sophisticated or luxurious as the packaging and the theming implies, but just kind of smells like a cheap Glade bathroom candle. In my opinion. So that was Diamond of the Season right there. I do, however, appreciate, even though I don't really like this fragrance, I appreciate that there is a like standalone hero fragrance that's kind of like the hero fragrance for the collection that gets the whole body care and the, you know, hand soap, all the extra formats. It's really fun and juicy, and because Bath & Body Works does have the benefit of having a body care segment as well as home fragrance, it's fun that we can get a crossover for those who do enjoy Bridgerton. So I appreciate that at least they have the two formats, and I really like that there's a variety in packaging where like they could have easily gave us the same packaging for all 5 fragrances, but I think that there's 3 different formats where we have like the velvet, sort of more minimal, subdued type of feel here, and then we also have the very like intensely royal English antique feel with like that sort of like damask scroll pattern as you see there, and then also, it's fun to get a different variation with the stripes on this one. So the variety and packaging is really fun, and I think they at least did a good job. It's not any of these 5 fragrances are going to be my favorite or anything I need to hoard or stock up on. I appreciate that they tried to be, I think, very intentional in hitting all the different fragrance categories to appeal to the most people. So if you want like a fruity type of sweet fragrance, we have Diamond of the Season. If you want something a little bit more woodsy or masculine, then we have Bridgerton Study. If you want like a fresh, clean spa moment, then you have Queen Charlotte's Tea. If you want a very basic, you know, obvious obvious, safe bakery fragrance. Then you have Danbury Shortbread. You know, Sugar Snickerdoodle was really popular, so was Mary Cookie. So to fill that slot, I think it was good. And then if you want something very floral, then you have Wisteria Garden here as well. So I think they did a good job of like hitting all the fragrance categories. So you could tell that like there was definitely thought put into how they placed and mapped out the fragrances. So I appreciate that. And I think that's it for the Bridgerton stuff. Yeah. I feel like I don't really need to say anything more about it. I'll probably burn the Danbury Shortbread and the Queen Charlotte's Tea and do a follow-up review on it. But I feel like I kind of exhausted my thoughts on Bridgerton. It's just, I think for this collaboration, specifically because I do love that sort of English royal antique feel. I enjoy the aesthetics of this, but like let's say if it's some other Netflix franchise that's some kind of like aesthetic that I'm not a huge fan of, then I might not necessarily want like some, I don't know, like whatever Netflix shows there are that aren't royal English. Like I might not be quite as like into it because the aesthetic is different or whatever, but it is what it is. We'll see what the other Netflix collaborations will be in the year coming. So there was that. I have just a few other knickknacks from a few other sales that we've had. Let's see. There was a Wallflower like lowest price of the season event, which was like $2.75, I think. My mother wanted a few of them, so I got some for her. And then since I was in there, I was like, I think with like 20% off or 25% off, whatever it was, they came out to like $2 a piece, which is like, oh my gosh, so cheap. I mean, that's like as cheap as like Walmart plugins, right? So I was like, okay, I use Wallflowers like sparingly. they're just too strong for me and they interfere too much with my candle burning activities that I always keep it just on the lowest setting on the scent control, so I appreciate that. But I smell Water Lily Springs in the store and I was like, oh my god, this smells divine. And of course it's like Sea Salt Coast too, which I kind of regret not picking up. But this was the Dew Kiss Lilies Crisp Waters and Clean Musk. Oh my god, it smelled great. I was like, this would be an awesome like wallflower fragrance. So that was that right there. And then I've been really wanting to try this because a lot of the reviews were saying that the espresso notes came out a lot more in the Wallflower. So I got the pink lavender and espresso right here. It's already plugged in and oh my god, I freaking love it. Rich pink lavender, caramel espresso beans, and smooth vanilla. So you guys know my major qualm with pink lavender espresso when it came out originally was that it was too similar to lavender marshmallow and I was like, there's just not enough espresso in here. But the Wallflower, for whatever reason, goes really hard on pushing out those like more gourmand, warmer notes of that sort of like brown sugar mixed with the caramel that kind of evokes an espresso or some kind of like almost cappuccino moment. And the Wallflower goes hard on those warmer notes that evoke espresso, and I love it. It's so scrumptious and delicious. I was like, wow, this is excellent. And even on the lowest setting, it's quite strong. I wish it could actually be a little bit less strong. I can't believe I'm saying that, but for Wallflowers, for whatever reason, they just really hit me hard. So there was that. And then because I love the Wallflower so much, I was like, there's a hand soap of it, isn't there? Let me try the hand soap format of it. So I did get the hand soap on some rando like $3.95 sale or whatever. Same notes on here. The hand soap is a little bit closer to the candle where it's very heavy on that lavender marshmallow moment. You can still get some of that sort of residual espresso feel to it, but I feel like it doesn't go as hard as the Wallflower does, but still enjoy the fragrance nonetheless. It's kind of like wash my hands with a slightly warmer lavender marshmallow, but that was pink lavender espresso. I think the Wallflower is the superior format. Wow. And so there was that. Let's see, a few reward redemptions because I was loving that Water Lily Springs Wallflower so much. I was like, oh my gosh, was I remiss in not picking up the shower gels of it? Totally old news, but there was, my most local store has been sold out for a long time, so I went to another store 20 minutes away and they still had them. So I did get a Water Lily Springs and shower gel. I love these. They're just like fresh clean, but still floral enough that it's not like not like laundry clean, you know? Love this blend. If there were candles of these, I mean, oh my god, like all about it. And I just love the colors and everything. So Water Lily Springs there. And then I was like, well, if I'm getting that one, I'm like swimming in rewards from all these friggin' candle purchases. Let me get Sea Salt Coast. Really enjoyed this too. It has like a very nice juicy citrus fragrance to it, but still enough of that sort of cream crisp like floral undertone in there that it's not just a straight up citrus fragrance. So I've really been digging both of those. So I was glad I can snag those before I like maybe missed out on them. And then lastly, I had a travel size body care coupon for free. And of course I wanted to get the newest one, which is Brightest Bloom. I actually really enjoy this too. It's nice. It has like a very sunshine and daffodils sort of green dewy spring floral moment, but it gives it like an extra like traditional fine fragrance perfumey department store perfume twist on it that makes it a little bit more robust and like pretty. So I was really enjoying the shower gel when I was using this. So that was the Brightest Bloom body wash. So yeah, and I think that's it. I've been rambling my head off. I think the stuff, like the releases should be dying down. There's also the wedding collection, First Sight and Dressed in White. Yeah. First Sight, I think, as many people have been saying, smells like that Baccarat Rouge 540 fragrance, which, oh my god, is that like not the most overused fragrance ever. I would just go around the mall or town or the theme park or whatever it is, and you just always smell that all in the air, and I'm just like, I'm so freaking sick of this fragrance because I just smell it so much. It's kind of similar to like In the Stars from Bath & Body Works, but I think First Sight is like more supposed to be on the nose Baccarat Rouge 540, but kind of like sweet and perfumey for a men's fragrance, so kind of weird. I don't really understand, because like First Sight is supposed to be like the men's cologne side, and Dressed in White is like the feminine perfume side. So kind of weird how that turned out, but all right. I guess fragrance shouldn't have a gender or whatever, you know, so I guess you can use whatever you want, but obviously there is a very distinct like women's and men's for that collection, so a little weird, but whatever. And then I think there's the Asian Heritage Month stuff is coming in May. That I'm looking forward to, because there's like a roasted sesame seed thing and a cherry blossom soju and all this kind of stuff. That is what is like next on my list, so I'm excited about the May Heritage Month release. So that's, I think, what I'm looking forward to next. And I think that is it for BBW, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.